Good afternoon to one and all. In yesterday's lecture, we have seen some essential part and characteristics of the law which has enacted by the Parliament in the year 2005 to prevent the domestic violence and protect the rights of the female within the four corner of the same house where the persons are residing and creating some problem known as the violence. The main focus of yesterday's lecture was on the definition and controversial aspect of the definition and characteristics of this 2005 Act. Today, we will enter into the another part for its analysis, criticism, suggestions, and for the understanding of proper words. And these words which are incorporated by the legislature in the enacted acts are required to be understood by the student of PG. And this part starts from section 4 up to the section 11 known as the chapter 3rd of the enacted law. And the chapter 3rd of the enacted law of 2005 normally prescribes the position of authorities. Authorities in the sense that what is the mechanism who are entitled to implement and to act and to perform the duties according to the provisions laid down from section 4 to 11. Who are they? What's their name? And what is the provision for their appointment? What is their qualification? What shall be their duty and functions? And if they will not perform their duty, then what will be the consequences? And therefore, this part is called, in a technical legal sense, the mechanism for the implementation of this act. As I have said that this is the unique act because it provides the protection to the female in the same shelter where other members are creating or committing the crime or creating the problems. And this aspect of the section 4 to 11 says that whenever there will be any kind of committing any violence against the female, the information shall be given by the protection officer, whereas the appointment of the protection officer PO is prescribed under section 8. But before the appointment of the protection officer, there is a provision under section 4 that the information of committing any violence shall be given by the protection officer to the magistrate. It is very interesting provision, incorporated by the legislature under section 4, that the protection officers shall inform the crime or violence against the female to the magistrate. But the appointment is prescribed under section 8. Therefore, my suggestion is that the appointment section should be before the section 4, so that it may be very easy to understand the systematic provisions of law. And whatever is there, of course, section 8 and all these things. But our matter is that what is prescribed under section 4 and what's its result, and how the provisions which is prescribed under this section can be analyzed. First aspect is what says the section 4. Section 4 says that if any violence in the family, in a shelter where both respondent and complainant are residing together, that report shall be given by whom? By the protection officer. Interestingly, a protection officer is there, and that will not be given directly by the complainant. The complainant shall come, or she will come through the protection officer. It means if the complainant is not competent enough to make the complaint, the protection officer is in between the forum, that is the magistrate, first class, and the complainant, protection officer. Please mind it. Keep it in your mind that there is a duty of the protection officer to make the complaint. Then what is the test and what are the ground for making the complaint by the protection officer? There is one legal word which says that if there is a reason to believe, under section 4 there is a word reason to believe, then certainly complaint shall be made by the protection officer. And our question is, what is the meaning of this reason to believe, and what are the requirements to apply the reason to believe by the protection officer? If you will see the definition of this reason to believe, which is prescribed under section 26 of Indian Penal Code, it says that there should be the sufficient facts, evidence, grounds for lodging the complaint. Sufficient facts with support of the evidence should be there, so that the protection officer may lodge the complaint before the competent authority. This is section 4. Reason to believe and duty of protection officer on behalf of the complainant, the protection officer shall perform the duty. Then of course, whenever another provision, please, whenever I have said that whenever you are going through the provisions of law, it is your duty to read every line, every word, every aspect, every proviso, every explanation of the particular section very deeply, concentrate. And that is the no liability shall be of that person who will give the information to the protection officer, or the protection officer, if he and she will give the information to the magistrate or police station, there shall not be any kind of liability of those persons who will lodge the complaint. Very easy. They will not come under the, it means, think over it, it means if the complaint is false and there were fabricated evidences, when the complaint lodged by the protection officer before the magistrate, then of course it can be said later on the case of malicious prosecution. Suppose the respondent has suffered, arrested, and ultimately got the success in a case, then the protection is given under this section 4 to the protection officer or a person who has given the information of the violence committed by respondent. No liability shall be there. This is very interesting. Then next point, which says that what shall be the duty and the functions of the police, magistrate, service provider. One is also there apart from the protection officer. There is service provider. Who will be service provider? Who will be protection officer? We will discuss just after the over of the duties of sheer shelter provider, medical facility, and the duty of police, magistrate, and service provider. Then we will enter into the another part. Who are they? Who are the service provider, and who is the protection officer, and who is the magistrate, and whose power is there, and at the same time who will provide the medical facility. Come with the analysis of the provisions of section 5, which says that the aspect of the duties immediately after receiving the complaint from the protection officer relating to the offense or violence committed against the female by the husband and a member of the other members of the family who are relatives of the husband. It shall be the duty of the police, magistrate, service provider. Service provider, who is service provider, I will explain. But under section 5, it has written that the protection order shall be passed by the magistrate. What is the protection office order? That is, of course, defined under section 2. But in section 2, it is written that it is the protection officer order which has written, or which has the power of the magistrate to issue it under certain sections, which starts from 19 and goes to up to the 29. But the protection order shall be passed. Please, you are the student of LLM. Then whenever there is a word, think over the word that it says the protection order. It means there is a dangerous situation and a critical situation a situation is against the female as prescribed under section 3 of the act, which defines the basically of the domestic violence, then immediately it shall be issued a protection officer first of all to protect the aggrieved party, not to harm that complainant, means the person who is suffering, who is the complainant directly, that is the female. The second order shall be passed the monetary relief immediately. Monetary relief. And monetary relief means what kind of relief? That if there is an injury and the injury suppose is there, the money shall be given by order of the magistrate to the complainant. Sorry. And the custody order also. Custody order means there, suppose there are the children of the spouse who are in question, who are in dispute, the custody of order means where the children will go, in which or in whom custody they will stay or they will reside immediately. Then residence order also. In other law, as I have said, that there is no such provision. The same shelter provision is there, and a residence order shall be passed by the magistrate after receiving the complaint through the protection officer. Then compensation also. These are the duties. And it has written under section 5, duty of police, duty of service provider, duty of the magistrate. Service provider is no doubt under the protection officer. Any person can offer himself or herself as a service provider, and appointment shall be made by the state government of the protection officer. There are the qualification and the experience, tenure of the service provider and the protection officer. But here section 5 prescribes the duty, as you have seen, the protection order, custody order, and the monetary relief order, compensation order, and the residence order. This is the duty. Immediately it shall be passed. You will say, sir, if there is, it has not been proved the order, means it had not been proved the case, how the immediately it shall be passed an order? That order may be the interim order. Interim order. Otherwise, where the civil go? Residence order requires immediately. Protection order, because there is a threat, there is a harm, there is a problem within the four corner of the house. Immediately where she will go? This is the question. Then, no doubt, it shall be the duty of those, again, that who wants to take the legal aid, because no sources of the finance she have, she cannot hire the lawyer. Even then, if it shall be the duty of the magistrate, protection officer, and the police to provide the legal aid. And at the same time, if any other case she wants to lodge apart from this domestic violence, for example, case under section 498A It has written under section 5. To facilitate, to provide the facility, to arrange the method or resources shall be arranged or shall be performed by the police or protection officer or magistrate. Even if magistrate will help, first class magistrate have the power. In metropolitan cities, the jurisdiction is given to the metropolitan first class magistrate. These are the duties prescribed under section 5. These are unique duties. Normally, this has not been prescribed in any other law. The duty of the court to protect from inception to the person who is the aggrieved of the domestic violence. Then, of course, suppose she do not want to live in the same house with the husband or the persons who had committed the offense of domestic violence, then section 6 prescribes that it shall be provided the shelter to the shelter home, and the order shall be passed by if anyone have any kind of problem to live with together or a separate shelter in the same house, or suppose there is no house. House may be in the name of the mother-in-law, father-in-law, and the domestic violence committed by the husband. Others are not involved. Therefore, section 6 prescribes that the shelter shall be provided and an order shall be passed by the magistrate with the help of protection officer to provide the shelter in the shelter home. But question is, where there is no shelter in the rural area, wherever there will be the shelter at the district level, then certainly the one can take the help of the magistrate, and wherever there will be the shelter home, apart from that place where the domestic violence has committed, shall be provided. Then after that, or in between that, after lodging the complaint by the protection officer to the police or magistrate, complaint shall be lodged to the magistrate, and copies shall be given to the police. If there is a required medical facility, means medical treatment and medical checkup, there may be the injury, bodily injury, then the medical shall be also provided to the aggrieved. Section 7. These are the facilities immediately which requires to be passed by an order of the magistrate, as you have seen that the protection order, shelter order, monetary relief, compensation order, and a medical order, so on. Then there is another question. Relief, as you have seen, because it is a domestic violence category, mental, physical, and economic, so on. Then another question, as I have raised, that there should be this provision before the section 4. So far my understanding is concerned, and my assessment says that the section 8 is related to the appointment of protection officer, and section 4 says that the complaint shall be lodged by the protection officer. By receiving this complaint from the complainant or otherwise, and even if you will see, the complainant is not able to write any complaint, she is illiterate in the rules which gives the power to make the rules by the executive by applying the section 12, that shall be written by the protection officer or service provider. Okay, that part we will cover because limited time, and government has issued some direction in this regard also online lecture. Your attendance is daily forwarding to the government. They have issued one format requires to be that to apply all these things. But my point is that section 8 prescribes the provision of the appointment of protection officer. Please, we are getting very limited time. The net is not supporting. Therefore, just I am suggesting the way of understanding and the method of the understanding of the legal provision. Every provision should be read by the student which is written in the codified law or the law laid down by the competent courts. That is my basic object, to assess these provisions, because the indication I am getting that upgrade and all these things. Then who will appoint this protection officer? What should be the qualification? And what will be the tenure of the protection officer? Three questions are there. One says that who will appoint? The answer of this question is given under section 8, that the state government shall appoint. How the state government shall appoint? It is written that as prescribed. As prescribed. Yesterday I have said that whenever there is a word that as prescribed means the rules shall be made by the executive, that is the government. It is called the delegated legislation. You might be read the administrative law at the LLB level. Therefore, section 8 says that state government shall appoint, but how it shall be appointed? It shall be appointed as prescribed. For that purpose, there are the rules. I have said that, and these rules came into existence from the 26th October 2006. And rule number 3 says that the appointment shall be made by the state government of the person who are working in the NGO registered under the Cooperative Society Act 1860. Either the person who is working in the government, and the second chance is given, say that is not a second chance, equal chances are there. The another person is working in a non-governmental organization registered under the 1860. And what should be the qualification of these persons? Qualification of these persons should be to work, social work, in the areas of the female of 3 years. And the tenure of this protection officer shall be of also the 3 years. Qualification, it is not a qualification relating to the any degree. Any person who have the good experience of social work and working in the non-governmental organization, that non-governmental organization shall be registered. He and she shall be the protection officer, but the preference shall be given to the female women by the government to appoint the protection officer, because it is a violence against the female. Female can understand better than the male. But there is no discriminatory clause under section 8, and preference word is written that the woman can be appointed as a protection officer because of the situation. That is the analysis, and because of the facility to the females that are there. And thus the point which says that according to the provisions of the protection to the female in the matters of domestic violence, the protection officer may be any person. There is no age limit. Of course, a minor cannot be, because other laws are there. It is a tenure post. Then in the same way, after the appointment of this protection officer, which is prescribed under the rule 3 and 4 of 2006, as it has written, then the section 9 prescribes the after the appointment of the protection officer, as you have already seen, the duties under section 5. The same duty is prescribed under section 9, but some are more duties. Immediately after lodging the complaint lodged through the protection officer. Protection officer may be any person appointed by the government, subject to the condition of the some social work experience, and in working in the NGO registered under the appropriate law, or a person who is working in the government, and preferably she should be the female protection officer. Then what shall be the duty? Next question. Systematically, then try to understand the how a legislation can be studied by the LLM student, because the LLM is a subject matter, or it is a class, it is a degree, where after getting this degree, everyone will say that he is have the degree of master in law, means expert in the area. Expert means the capacity he has developed to understand the law. And that says that to assist the magistrate where the case will go for dispose of and for trial, it shall be the duty of the protection officer to assist the magistrate. It means the protection officer is in between the complainant and the magistrate. And in rules, under the rules, it has written that the protection officer is under the control of magistrate also. It is not the control of the government, but appointment made by the government, but under the control of magistrate. And that shall be assisted by that person. Secondly, prepare the report. Which report? Report means that you have seen after the investigation under the CRPC to submit the report to the trial court under section 173. And such type of report shall be prepared, shall be written, and shall be made by the protection officer to submit it before the court. But he is not expert, just like the expertise of the police SI, sub-inspector, because the power is given under the CRPC to the sub-inspector. Then as under section 4, it has already written, we are discussing section 9, but it is again written under section 9 that he and she shall make the complaint to the magistrate in the prescribed format. And now the question is, where is the format? And what should be written in the complaint? How it should be written? Please try to understand, because I have given you project assignment, but I have faced a lot. No student is in capacity to understand quickly what should be written and how should be written and what is the relevancy of the particular fact and where it has been written, because you are not studying again and again. I know the most of the students are doing their work at night. Some student has sent me near about 2 a.m. early in the morning assignment. They are doing well. But try to understand, if you will apply your mind, there will not be any problem. As I have said that to make the complaint is written, this is not a subject matter to enumerate the what is written under what section and what it says and all these things. But this is the subject matter, why it is written and what is the difference, how it can be analyzed and what is the critical approach and why legislature